You are listening to the Beaverton, North America's trusted source of news.
This week on the Beaverton, Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau were photographed canoodling on a yacht. I couldn't decide whether to make an I kissed a girl and I liked it or fuck Trudeau joke here, so I'll leave it to you to decide, like a choose your own adventure. Doug Ford threatened to physically assault an alleged shoplifter at Home Depot, unless of course that man went around knocking over the cameras that caught him shoplifting, in which case Doug Ford would have immediately banned shoplifting cameras. And India promises to restore a full cohort of Canadian diplomats. Still no word on that promise to stop assassinating people on Canadian soil we've been hoping for. That's right, it's time to make fun of the news once again on the Beaverton Weekly Report. Welcome to the show, everyone. So glad you are tuning in. I'm your host, Luke Gornfield. Joining me this week are two of our regular panelists, one of whom is very sad about the Blue Jays, so be nice to her, Clare Blackwood and Nile Seguin.
What happened to Vlad? I don't want to talk about it.
I was hoping you were going to let them guess. Which one? Which one?
I mean, if they've listened to this podcast for even an episode, I think they know. Claire's got a pretty strong brand.
And it's a brand I'm happy to have.
Yay.
And a returning special guest. Not sure if we've had a returning special guest since we came back. A hilarious comedian and podcast host of The Villain Was Right, Craig Fay.
Yes, hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. And you're also, little behind the scenes info for others, but our wonderful producers, Andrew and Diana, are off on their honeymoon, which huge congratulations to them. And so you're also our producer for this episode. You're doing 2 for 1.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So if you ever see me like glaze over and look off into the distance and not answer a question you have, that's what I'm doing.
Hey, it's an audio medium that people have no clue. Yeah. I'm very good at filling silences with, anyways.
Yeah, any and all sound fuck-ups, though. That's on you, buddy.
Well, thank you so much for doing a double job for us. We appreciate it. Let's dive into, clearly the biggest story right now, which is that there is a ceasefire in place after over 2 years of horrific conflict. There's a ceasefire in place in Gaza. Trump and the mediators have officially signed the ceasefire deal, the details of which are that all living hostages have now been returned. 2,000 Palestinian prisoners, in quotes, almost all of whom were being held without charge, have also been returned. The one thing that I've noticed today, but even especially in recent days, is the media going so far out of the way, even torturing themselves grammatically to describe the Palestinians, the Israelis as hostages and the Palestinians as prisoners. Why are we doing this? Why is there such a clear demarcation between the two?
I will take racism for $500.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but isn't it really the Palestinians? Build a prison. You can't have a prisoners without a prison, guys.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. It's 4 walls and a bucket. I have 2.
Famously right now, the biggest building need in Gaza is prison. They don't have any other buildings that need to go up really quickly.
No, build
hospitals
prison.
or schools.
Listen, if you want, it's like if you start a business, have a letterhead.
Yeah, that's the first step to a business. Nile was born in 1908, by the way.
It's how people... All right, that's all I got, by the way. this joke's,
No, I mean, I do generally think that it's a slow kind of skewing of the perception of the genocide. I think we've seen this in a lot of media, and especially social media right now, which is just they're just trying to either push it away or kind of soften us. I mean, they've been doing this the whole time, but to Israel's actions.
Yes.
And this is just another insidious way of doing it.
Yeah, it seems to have, this especially seemed to really be one of those examples that even very well-meaning people fall into this trap of the dehumanization of Palestinians. Like Natalie Portman, which I'm not trying to put Natalie Portman on blast, but she came out with a statement.
Shit.
We can put her on blast. She's rich and famous.
Fair enough.
It's
But I just
fine.
mean, I don't have any beef with Natalie Portman, but she came out with a statement celebrating, come at
Hi,
me, Portman
Natalie.
heads.
Come on. We know you listen to this.
Which one of you is Kendrick?
I mean, clearly her. Have you seen Garden State? She can fuck someone up. But it just seems like, she came out with a statement and again, was very celebratory and was an active call for peace, was not a overly pro-Israel statement, but even she just went so far out of her way to be the hostages, and then also these prisoners who, probably should still be in prison, but it's okay that they're getting out in exchange for the hostages, which, again, these were people who were rounded up, arrested, detained under what Israel calls administrative detention, which just allows them to hold Palestinians in jail 4 years without ever presenting a charge, let alone convicting of them.
And there's still 10,000 of them left.
Yeah.
it's just 2,000.
And they're going to just start arresting more. I mean, that's the thing is that
Yeah.
when they have unlimited, like no one will stop them from arresting people. We barely care when they kill people. So they're just going to start filling the jails with more administrative detainees that they can then use if they need to in a prisoner exchange, aka hostage exchange. Like
Craig's been rolling his eyes the entire time. He doesn't agree with any of this.
I was like, all good points.
I'm throwing you under the bus.
Well, no, it's one of those things where it's like it is absolutely good that this ceasefire is happening,
Yeah,
right? Absolutely good.
That is awesome.
But at a certain point, I think you gotta separate the sides, almost like school children, and be like, we don't care who started it, we don't care what you're calling these people. Let's just let's figure out how to stop this forever. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that metaphor. I would say it's almost like that's the scenario, but it's like in terms of force power,
Sure.
it's like someone in junior kindergarten fighting someone in grade 6.
Yes.
And being like, we got to get these two equally guilty people away from each other because they might fight each other.
Wait, sorry.
And it definitely won't just be
which one is which
slaughter.
in this metaphor?
Well, acknowledging that the deal generally helps Israel way more than it does Gaza.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course.
So,
Yeah, I mean-
I think it's important to consider that.
Yeah, no,
through
absolutely.
the
You're right.
Ceasefire negotiations.
But I don't know. Call me crazy, but it is nice. It's been a week.
Oh.
It's been more than a week, is it not?
It has. They've both.
The hostages came
It's
through
not-
on Thanksgiving
Yeah,
Monday.
it's not perfect, but what I'm saying is the carnage has at least temporarily stopped. I'm happy for that.
Oh, 100%. This
It's
is- I'm not
a
trying to
low
immediately
bar
do
in
it.
international politics.
No, but
to
I
be
just
sure.
find we'll be like, oh my God, this is terrible. And then when something kind of goodish or
No.
good adjacent
No, it's good.
happens, we're immediately on to the next thing that we have a problem with. We're just like, I'm just take a half second, take the win, and then we can move on.
You know what? I think that's a very good
You
point.
sound like a guy with a good news podcast.
I am trying to prevent people from walking into the ocean, and it is so hard.
Well, you and the Israeli forces, but for a different reason, which is they banned Palestinians from fishing. Sorry, back to my negative
Did they
point.
actually?
Yes, they
Wow.
What was the time on that?
They really took the
2 seconds.
2 seconds. They really
I'll
took
bring it
the
back.
teach a man to fish
Oh, God.
metaphor, and we're just like, how can we do this the opposite way? What if we treated our neighbors like we don't want to be treated?
Yeah, there's a point there. So let's focus on the positive. You're right, and then I do want to get into the concerns. But and this is a weird way to say let's focus on the positive and bring up Donald Trump. But let's focus on Donald Trump, which is
Who's just a huge positive.
yeah,
just a
well,
walking.
if
plus
this
sign.
holds, if Trump's claim that he has created a new dawn for peace in the Middle East, which is one of the things he said, if that holds in any way, we know that one of the reasons that Donald Trump is doing this is not out of concern for Palestinian lives, but is very much a personal narcissistic thing of he wants a Nobel Peace Prize. That has been so transparent throughout everything he said. He's made it. I mean, again, there's no subtlety to this, man. He said outright, "I want a Nobel Peace Prize." Does he deserve one if this holds?
Okay, look, I didn't know that was because I was kind of baffled. I'm like, why is he doing this? If that's the reason, listen, he's got to get second place every year. Let's get him to work. Like, if he does this for one prize, he'll just go around cleaning up the planet if we just keep putting him in second place.
That's not a bad. Yeah, I mean that's what we have trophies for, right? Is to motivate
Dangling
people.
over his head. This year, Mr. President, this year it's going to happen.
Don, you were so close. You were so close. 2 votes, buddy. 2 votes.
And then just make sure that the person who wins it dedicates it to him every time.
Yeah.
Just
so
Which
close.
she kind of did.
Alternate, we just keep coming up with new prizes to give him. Like if he solves the Middle
It's
East,
the
he gets Nobel Peace Prize.
It's the Nobel Peace Prize, but
For
just
a Middle
spelled a
East.
little differently. It's like the Noble.
Or we just like make ones that have no connection. Like
Sure.
if he ends Russia's war in Ukraine, he gets the MacArthur Genius Grant.
Oh,
like
my God. Yeah, we just make them up. We
Stop
have
sending
like a-
people to like El Salvador in concentration camps.
1,000%.
We'll give you all of Stephen Colbert's Emmys. You can have them all.
We have really overthought this. Like, let's just, we know what he likes. Let's give him what he likes.
He just wants gold. He just wants gold.
Just wants
Any
shiny.
prize that's
he just wants to be
fake
told
gold.
he's a special
Yeah.
boy. Let's
Yeah.
special boy this guy to
Yeah.
world peace.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Can I answer your question seriously,
Of course
though?
you
I feel that was serious.
No, it was extremely serious, and I think that we should do it.
deadly serious.
But I will put out there that I think yes, it's a good thing. Good job, President Trump. I guess even if you did it for obviously narcissistic reasons, but I also don't think that you get to spend years like deliberately facilitating, aiding, and sponsoring a genocide, knowing what you're doing, and then get to be like, but I fixed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just feels like I go
stopped
in and
punching someone, therefore I'm a
It feels like I
peacemaker,
go
yeah.
into your house and I set your house on fire,
Whoa,
and then I
whoa,
like
why are you
take your
pointing at me?
TV, and I'm like, look, I saved your TV. Make me mayor. Like it doesn't. That doesn't work for me.
I mean,
It
the
doesn't-
other thing, the Nobel. Come on, that's like the Oscars. You know what it is? It's like
Yeah.
it's like the MVP in the NBA. It fucking means nothing.
They gave Kissinger the Nobel
They gave
Peace
Kissinger
Prize.
the-
Yes, we did confirm that after that was brought up a
And
couple episodes ago. I was like,
Obama.
no way, that's real. It is absolutely
It
real.
is.
Gandhi never got it. The European Union.
No living, because it has to be given to a living person. 1946, they said no living person is suitable this year.
Give a posthumous one. The European Union got it in 2012 just for being cool. Come on, what are we fucking talking? Fuck this goddamn prize.
Weirdly
Fuck it.
enough, like that is one I would defend, because the reason they gave for the European
The
Union,
European
was
Union.
like the Europe has been in war for thousands of years,
I knew
and you
this was
didn't
coming, yeah.
do it till World War II, or you haven't done it since World War II. But
What did you just say?
yeah.
That's why they
with
got
each
it?
other, with each other.
That's
yeah.
why they got it.
Yeah.
No EU country has fought a war against each other.
This is you.
The look on Niall's face.
I just have a stroke.
Literally,
why
it's
they got
like
it.
France
Come
and England
on.
have not gone to war with each other in 50 years.
job.
That's
For
like
that you get a prize.
again,
You know what? I haven't
I'm
punched
with Greg.
anyone since
He's
I
not
got
gonna
here,
do it.
so I will want some money right
Nobel
now.
Peace Prize for you, sir.
Come on. That
No,
is
but in all honesty,
insane.
and in all honesty, like
No,
the
in all
Nobel
honesty,
Peace
that's
Prize is one, like you go back in time, the Nobel Peace Prize is found by Alfred Nobel, who saw they printed his obituary before he died by accident. He saw that he was going to be labeled the Merchant of Death for inventing dynamite.
Speaking of
and then was
narcissistic
like,
reasons, by the way.
and then was like, you know what? I need to rehab my image. Nobel Peace Prize and the others.
So wait, we're mad at Trump because he narcissistically
he wants the
a
dynamite
prize
man's-
created by a narcissist.
Yes.
Okay, sure.
But I forget.
An Ouroboros of narcissism.
It's also like the Nobel Peace Prize is also like a weird thing where it's like sometimes it's aspirational.
Yeah,
like
with
Obama.
the winner of
it's the MVP
current one,
award.
the Venezuelan
Or like
person.
who gets to be Times Person of the Year.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. It's not serious.
No,
It's not
and like
serious.
as you said, like should Obama have
God.
gotten one when he's literally drone striking weddings? You're like maybe we don't give it to the people in charge of the drones. You know?
I'm not. We got to move on. I'm never going to get over the 2012
the
one.
Nobel Peace Prize.
All this to say, no, he does not deserve it.
No, he
I am
does
not.
not.
No,
I think it's sure. Whatever. I don't care. It's a garbage prize.
You've broken him.
You didn't break me. You broke yourselves. What are you doing? Nobel Prize.
I think
For
they should
Christ's
do what
sake,
like Time
respect
Magazine did
yourselves.
with Person of the Year and just like put up a mirror one and be like, it's you. You all win the Nobel Peace Prize. You're doing it.
I truly do think, though, that if we just changed the EL to an LE and just did a whole fake ceremony, I don't think he'd notice.
Oh yeah.
It'd be beautiful.
Yeah, like the Canadian government can be like, we're doing a fake Nobel Prize. Fly him
And
to.
you could literally call it Special Boy.
Yeah.
And he'll go for it.
The Canadian Special
No
Boy
matter
Award.
how condescending it is.
Yeah.
Awesome president.
We'll
Awesomest president.
fly him to Quebec City, tell him it's Sweden.
And he'll be like, where's Sweden?
He was like,
What's
so
Sweden?
European. It's so European. I didn't know Spanish sounded like Quebecois French, but Spanish. Sorry, Swedish.
Yeah.
No,
Trump
I thought
think
that was
Trump-
the bit.
yeah,
That was-
okay.
He 100%
Yeah, no.
thinks the Swedes speak Spanish. Come on, man.
All the S countries speak Spanish.
For sure. All S countries speak an S language.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. Bang on.
Nobel Prize winner 2027, everybody. All S countries speak Spanish.
Jesus Christ.
So that's the pod. Coming back to the terms of the deal, or at least the situation as it is. So as we mentioned, there's this whole prisoner/hostage exchange. There's also the requirement that IDF forces pull back from Gaza's major cities, but they have not left Gaza. There is also, and this is the weirdest thing I read, a secret kind of agreement that Trump signed with the president of Turkey and I think the leader of Egypt that basically is a secret plan for Gaza's future, which is not being made public as far as I know. Yeah, I mean, I think just because he was choosing Muslim countries that are powerful in the region. And Erdogan's obviously a very big pro-Trump guy. He's basically a dictator himself, et cetera, et cetera. What do we think's in the secret plan for Gaza?
It's gotta be a resort.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. It's gonna have a gold statue of Trump and Netanyahu French kissing in front, and it's just gonna be a resort.
I'm embarrassed at how long it took me to because I was like, what are you looking for? And then I looked at the map and I was like, oh, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
Because it's just all beach.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like, doesn't that just, maybe I'm going too deep into history here, but doesn't that feel like what happened after World War I and World War II that got us into this problem to begin with, where it's like all these powers that have nothing to do with this area are meeting up and be like, how do we divide this up and make peace? And like, completely ignoring.
But Germany wasn't the aggressor.
No. But like after World War I.
Yeah. How do we Treaty of Versailles 2.0?
Yeah. Or Potsdam Conference when they're like, how do we divide up? I forget what they divided up there. I guess Germany.
Potsdam was about dividing up Germany
Yeah.
and essentially set the stage for the whole the Iron Curtain, basically.
Right. Yeah.
World War I is famously the one where they tried to create a world of the war to end all wars, right? So like they tried to create a world without war and caused truly every war that has happened
So much
since.
war. So much
Just
more.
name a war, the Treaty of Versailles and the Paris Peace Conference caused it.
And you know who allowed World War I to happen?
Nobel.
Alfred Nobel.
Alfred Nobel. And he got a prize for it. He actually went 15 minutes. He went 15 minutes without one, and he was like, "Prize for me, prize for me, you guys."
Before you just had to bayonet somebody, and now you can blow them up with high explosives. Anyway, Nobel Peace Prize.
Thanks, Alfred.
Oh shit, guys! I just got a text. We just got the Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh.
So way to go!
Yes.
We can start fighting again. We can start killing.
This episode of the Beaverton brought to you by the Nobel Prize. What have you done for peace today?
Just 30 seconds of us kicking the shit out of each other.
Oh my God. Yes. So the result of all this was that Trump flew to, first Israel, which I want to talk about in a second, and then to Egypt for this big, celebratory, basically propaganda of like, I'm announcing a new dawn for the Middle East. Everyone, shake my hand and praise me, which all the leaders were happy to do. And again, that's what, for everyone who's like mad at Cardi for sucking up to Trump, I'm not trying to defend Cardi, but that's what you have to do when you need a narcissist to do good things.
Oh, yeah.
You have to go out and be like, dear leader, thank you, because the other option is just more dead bodies. And so if we gotta blow Trump every day in the Oval Office to get less dead kids,
so much
I volunteer.
Worse.
I don't give a shit.
I would do so much worse on an hourly basis just to stop carnage. Are you kidding me? Yeah, fuck.
Absolutely.
Blow them up. Gas them up.
100%. So that's where they're at. They all come together for this big celebratory event. Trump is, declaring the war definitively over, saying this is a new dawn for the Middle East. But there are just so many ambiguities of what's going to happen next. The plan calls for Hamas to disarm and give up control. There's already a ton of video footage of Hamas executing people and murdering people who are, as they say, collaborators, which are maybe just rival factions who would be competing for control of Gaza. Not something you would traditionally do when you're planning on disarming and giving up power.
They've also said that they're not going to give up power.
Yes.
So.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's another thing
important.
you do.
Which is what I said last time. I'm like, they're not going to agree to that.
Yeah.
In no world are they going to agree to that.
Yeah, I thought they'd at least rebrand a little bit. You know what I mean? I thought they'd at least slap a new name on it.
Yeah.
Like now we're Saham or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like,
Especially because
different.
Israel's drone striking people still. So, there's no reason for them.
And that is the other big thing, which is Israel has just today certainly not killed as many people as they killed during the war, but has killed, I think, over 10 10 today in Gaza.
Well, there goes the Nobel Peace Prize, right? They were
just
up
like-
for it.
No, under
They
10
were up
or
for
10
it.
and under, it's still good.
They were.
I'm losing faith in this ceasefire, guys.
That's the slogan.
You're like, well, I mean, they didn't kill as many people today, and like they're not going to give up power.
That was an Onion headline.
And we're just like, oh my god, yeah. What about the ceasefire where no one's dying anymore, but people are dying? You're like,
Well, the old Palestinian joke is a ceasefire means that Palestine ceases and Israel fires.
Right.
And that's the very dark joke that I think is born from a lot of history, obviously, as everything in this region is, and has an accurate ring to it. The other thing that Israel did is the situation is all the living hostages have been recovered, which is wonderful, and we're so grateful that they came home safe. The hostages who tragically died, they are Israel wants the remains back, of course, fair enough, but everyone knows who understands the situation is that many of those hostages are buried underneath rubble, just like many Palestinians are, and they are not easy to recover. and Israel is demanding all the remains back immediately, or else they have said they will close the Rafah opening, which is a major source of aid for Palestinians, which also gives away the game that they were absolutely using aid as a weapon of war this whole time. But anyways, so they have immediately said, we're going to close that up if you don't get us the remains quickly enough.
And they're not letting the vehicles in that could facilitate uncovering the rubble.
Wow.
I think I read, yeah.
Yes. No, I mean, there's, as we alluded to up top, there is so much construction, just construction work that needs to happen before so many other things can happen. The whole, if you've seen the images, of course, the whole of Gaza is covered in this like white dust. That's not natural. That's not because Gaza is a desert or anything like that. It's from the explosion and all the plaster and concrete and everything that has been exploded by artillery. But anyways, so that is not like, that's the natural state of Gaza. That's not what it looks like. It's not like, it's like in Breaking Bad where it's like, Mexico's yellow, right? We all agree Mexico's yellow.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we just put a filter on it. And unfortunately in Gaza, there's a real life filter of a white dust covering everything. And that's just one example of all the different ways there is, so much work that needs to be done to rehabilitate the land, let alone, of course, the people. And so, if Israel is truly going to use we didn't get all the remains so we can forget the ceasefire and let's go back to war, then it's, they have the excuse if they want it. So that's the real, I think, area where Israel, if they choose to, could exploit to go back into an active war and not the ceasefire we're in where, only 10 people are dying a day or whatever.
Do we know what did Trump... Don't say the art of the deal. What did Trump do and or say to push this through? Because, obviously, this has been going on for a minute. I'm assuming Biden probably sent out a team.
Honestly, I don't know that he did.
I don't know that he did.
Wow. Biden seemed to be full support of Israel and did not want to challenge Netanyahu. I think that, there's a certain thing where Trump, because he's on the right, doesn't have to worry about people on the right attacking him for being critical of Israel, whereas Democrats do.
Sure.
And so I think he has more leeway than Biden ever had. He has more runway to actually challenge Netanyahu.
Was it just like,
and I think he used it a little bit.
We'll cut off weapons or something? Like,
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't even think that. I think it's like, I could be completely off base here, but I just think he wanted Netanyahu to like him to a certain extent, and I think he gets power from like the strongest friendship is with Netanyahu. I think that makes him feel good and special and a good special boy.
Okay, but we're reversing it. Like, I'm just sorry. We might as well keep going because I don't think we'll know. But I'm like, what did he? How? Because that would give us an idea of how long.
I think it's
like the life.
Oh, so like
span
deals?
of the
What
what's the
make?
lifespan of the ceasefire?
Yeah. To answer your question, Israel, a little bit back from history, it is worth knowing how dependent Israel is on the U.S. Like that is it is a country that could not exist but for U.S. military support and financial support. So, for example, there's a famous story of Reagan when he was in office, and there was I believe it was with Lebanon. Israel
I
was
remember
at war with
that.
Lebanon.
Weird.
And they were bombing Lebanon, and Reagan, who was not the sharpest thinker in the world, was very would just kind of go by the seat of his pants. And he was watching the news and he saw these images and he was like, this is too much. And he called up the Israeli prime minister and was like, stop. And Israeli did. And Reagan turned to his chief of staff, I think it was probably Baker at that point, and just went, I didn't know I had that kind of power. And
Peace prize, please.
Was that before or after he started sunsetting?
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's a good question.
I think the phrasing is, I forgot I had that kind of power.
The whole time is a flat circle thing with a sun-downing president and Israel at war is very apparent. But yeah, so that's an example of Trump doesn't have to really work hard to have leverage over Netanyahu.
He could just say stop.
He can kind of
make
just
him be
say
like,
stop.
oh, we don't know what's okay. Fair.
Yeah. And also, I do think Trump, to Claire's point, I do think Trump and Netanyahu are peas in a pod. And to that point, one thing I want to ask you guys about is, so before he went to Egypt, Trump went to Israel, spoke at the Israeli parliament, and Netanyahu called him Israel's greatest friend. Trump gave a very complimentary speech, but also made it very clear, don't go back to war. He was, to his credit, he was not so subtly being don't fuck this up.
Mm-hmm.
And
so weird because he's subtle most of the time.
Exactly. But I mean, he wasn't just all Kushner came out and was like, Israel's the best. I love Israel so much. You guys did nothing wrong. The world is wrong. You guys are right. Trump didn't do that. Trump was a little bit more don't go back to war. You have an opportunity here. Be smart about this, in that very Trumpy way of this is a chance, I'm giving you a chance. Don't let me down kind of thing. But he also took time out to praise Netanyahu, of course, and specifically call on the Israeli president to pardon him, preemptively pardon him, because Netanyahu, not unlike a Donald Trump, is facing criminal charges for corruption and I think witness tampering and a bunch of other stuff. Is Trump just offended by the concept of people being prosecuted for corruption at this point?
What? How dare you?
I thought he was just kind of like, it's like an insurance policy. He's just sort of normalizing it, just putting it out in the ether, out in the world. Like, come on, we pardon people who are leaders and corrupt. Come on, don't be weird. Don't make it weird.
Don't make it weird.
So that maybe in 2028, when he doesn't become king, he could be like, guys, let's not hold grudges, right? Are we cool?
I love you using the "don't make it weird" logic, like the same way like hockey bros make it of like when they're clearly about to hook up. Like, don't make it weird, bro. Let's just. It's not weird to hook up. It's fine.
This is I feel like that's what he's doing. He's just putting it out in the world. Literally.
I mean, normalizing it. Yeah. For sure.
Yep, fair enough. Well, there's, as we said, there's a lot of concern, there's a lot of negativity, and yes, there is still tragedies happening on a daily basis. I do want to, as Nile mentioned, I do want to indicate that, look, we've spent, as I'm sure most of the people listening to this, we've spent 2 years every day being bombarded by truly graphic images. I can't even begin to imagine what it's been like for Palestinians living in Gaza and the West Bank, which, never gets mentioned, but is also a scene of just crime after crime. So I do want to end on a hopeful note of maybe there's some progress being made, and we can only hope that that's the case. And I will give a shout out to, I'm so sorry I forget the username, but there was a brilliant joke being made by a Palestinian of, after 2 years of war, it's like a sketch where a Palestinian is trying to go to sleep and they can't fall asleep, so they put on their white noise, which is just the sound of bombs and destruction, and falls fast asleep. And it's so brilliantly dark and just a testament to how comedy can help you laugh at even literally the worst thing on earth. So just shout out to the Palestinian people who are managing to keep their sense of humor through true epic horrors. And that was just a moment of I burst out laughing and then was like, oh my God.
Felt awful.
Yeah. Anyways, turning to situations at home, I want to talk a little bit about a story that I think has flown a bit under the radar, which I'm surprised by because it's a pretty fucking big deal, which is the Conservative Party is officially opposed to birthright citizenship in Canada.
I'm shocked.
It is one of those things that feels like this is probably how they always felt, but now they're just coming out full bore and saying it. So Michelle Rempel Garner, had penned an editorial, and then that was then, kind of endorsed or retweeted by Pierre Poilievre, leaving no doubt as to the party's official position, that says automatic citizenship should be limited to those who have at least one parent who's either a citizen or permanent resident, which doesn't sound that ridiculous on its face. I agree.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's one of those things like, okay, yeah. But, the immediate concern is, every country, as she says in her editorial, has different rules on citizenship. So if you create a situation where people don't have automatic birthright citizenship, you potentially create stateless citizens. Because if they don't get it through their parents back at home,
They're like
famously
Jason Bourne.
stateless citizens.
I literally was thinking Jason Bourne. You get to be born Jason Bourne, no pun intended.
Every single one of them. Yes, is a Jason Bourne for sure.
Okay.
They live that fantasy.
So I'm hearing a lot of problems.
That is the fate of every stateless citizen.
I'm hearing a lot of solutions.
Or Tom Hanks in The Terminal.
Equally beloved franchise, The Terminal.
But he never.
Where Stanley Tucci is a bad guy at the airport and Tom Hanks loves Burger King.
Oh, I need to watch this.
No, you don't. It's a terrible movie.
Does he kill as many people?
He's from a not actually existing European country, arrives at JFK, and then his country ceases to exist while he's in JFK.
Oh.
So he can't go back. He becomes a permanent resident of JFK Airport.
Because he can't leave, but he can't go
And
anywhere.
he can't remember what happened before, but he can run, and he's got all of his fighting skills.
Why can't he remember
And he's got
what happened before?
there's
Jason
a
Bourne.
booth.
That's
There's
Jason Bourne. That's not The Terminal.
And weirdly, the terminal
There's a bank
is
deposit box that has a gun and 16 passports.
and the
Stanley
terminal.
Tucci shows up.
Then Stanley Tucci shows up.
As he does, and the terminal is unfortunately based on a true story of a
happened here,
man.
right?
It wasn't
In Vancouver?
No, it wasn't Vancouver. I know what you're saying. No, that's
never
more
mind.
disturbing.
Let's move on.
But the man had more mental health issues from living his life in an airport. And anyway, it
wasn't a feel-good Tom Hanks Christmas movie?
Wasn't Tom Hanks falling in love with Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Oh, is it the man who was convinced he was from a country that didn't exist?
I think he was like it was like a former Soviet country that did collapse or something.
Okay.
I don't know the details of
Right.
things.
It was definitely
like,
an Eastern European, like
Yeah.
the flux of the fall of the USSR had caused it somehow. I remember.
Yeah,
the time.
but we can agree being a stateless citizen is great.
The main point of this is that every
zero
single
tax.
citizen
I don't get
That's
your
not bad.
problem, Luke.
Every single time they make a blockbuster movie about it. And
It's like really just kind of buzzkilling a little hard.
I am, you know what? Famously, I am a pretty big buzzkill towards conservative ideas. I'll acknowledge that. I'll own that. Yes. So, yeah, famously, stateless citizens do great, having no protection of law, international or domestic. Wonderful. Always works out for people. So the back to the conservative specific idea, which is part of a wider, very immigration stance conservatives are taking. Garner said that one of the drawbacks of the current system is that courts aren't as quick to deport someone who has a Canadian child, which is so just saying the quiet part out loud.
Fuck empathy, am I right? Just toss them into the ocean. Get them out of here.
And I read about that, and the thought I just had, like obviously that is cruel, right?
Yeah.
And each one of us reacts like, well, don't deport
I feel
the
like
parents of
This
babies.
is going to be an amazing
right?
part.
No,
Here comes a turn.
This is really not a turn. This is who else do you want in your country but somebody who is going to love and support a child here and work for them? Like, that's the kind of citizen you do want in the country. So don't, however they got here and however they had a kid here, chances are, they're going to do well because they've got a kid to support.
Every country that's going like this anti-immigration route is just removing themselves from the trap. Like they're just shooting themselves. We're getting everyone's best draft picks.
Yeah.
Like, it's not easy to get into this fucking country. You have to fucking work your goddamn ass. That's who we're getting. It's like, no, thank you. We're okay with, oh my God. All right, sure. Good luck.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they would say they're not excluding the people who get in through the point system. They're excluding the temporary foreign workers, the university students, and their kids, which again is undeniably cruel. But they would say, from a practical perspective, it's not excluding the best and the brightest who we want to come here. It's excluding the people who are taking our jobs, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, they're talking about, like, the big talking point is, like, do you know how many women who were, like, 8.5 months pregnant come over and they just come over here just to go on vacation and have a baby from, I think the example used was India.
Can you even fly at 8.5 months?
I was going to ask.
You're not supposed to fly.
I was supposed to fly, correct, but that was one of the major, like, I don't know, I saw it on, of course I saw it on
course.
Twitter.
And by the way, I have the number for you. There were...
Do you have the number of months?
The number of people who flew here to have a kid,
Got it.
and created this huge tsunami of what very racist people in the United States call anchor babies, which is what Michelle Rumberg Garner here is doing. Like, this was a big Ann Coulter talking point in the 90s and 2000s, and like what they are fear mongering about. A grand total of 1,610 kids.
Well, that's an
last year.
invasion. That's an
Like,
invasion.
That's-
I mean, I know that's not
a whole
nothing.
middle school.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I know it's not nothing, but we're a country of 40 million people. Like, you know what I mean? This is
Wrong.
This
40,1,610, Luke.
Like-
Read a book.
Like, it almost makes me want to, like, just pass a broad law that is like, listen, if this only affects 1,600 people, the federal government can't talk about it.
It's just like
I love it very much.
It's a minimum
weirdos.
personage. Yeah. Outstanding.
It's just like the weirdos freaking out about trans athletes, right? It's
Yeah.
like you have 2 trans athletes and they decide to make all of their lives harsher. Like, why are we picking such small numbers of people?
Maybe I'm being an old man, but now at this point, every time I hear a conservative say anything about immigration, my first thought is, where's the fucking money? Because I feel like you're just trying to do this to avoid anyone talking about, like, class issues or anything. You know what I'm talking
yeah.
about?
Oh, yeah, they're just trying to
It's the
blame.
same fuck. And in their defense, it works every goddamn time.
Yes.
They'll say something fucking dumb like, oh, these immigrant babies, I'm going to kick one in the water. And then we're like, oh, don't kick an immigrant baby. And then they go to someone else.
Yeah.
They're like, those liberals want immigrant babies to run our countries. And they're like, whoa, why don't our babies run the country? And then we're just yelling at each other and we've totally lost the plot. And they're like, twirling their fucking
Oh yeah, that's it.
mustaches.
It's
Making their
definitely
billions.
that. It's like
Making
that
their
old
billions.
cartoon where it's like the rich fat guy he's taking
Murdoch.
all the
Super
cooties,
Murdoch.
and then he goes,
Yeah.
look out for that immigrant. He's after your cookies.
I can't even every time now. Like as soon as I heard about this, I'm like, where's the money?
Yeah.
Where's the goddamn money?
Yeah.
I mean, using wedge issues to distract from issues they don't do well on is, I mean, it's a time-honored tradition that both left and right engage. Conservatives are definitely better at it.
Yeah.
Finding, you think of all the examples we've seen over in the United States over the years of like the war on Christmas and what racist Santa Claus, and now it's in here and in the U.S. it's DEI, it's trans athletes, as Claire said, and now this, and they have hugely succeeded in and this has happened partially organically, but partially as a result of messaging, succeeded in dramatically changing the way Canadians feel about immigration. Immigration in early Trudeau years, when we were all very proud of all the Syrian refugees we took, et cetera, was something that people were pro-immigration, pro-more immigrants coming over.
Yeah, but Tim Hortons
20, 30,
commercials
40
about
points.
it.
Yeah, 100%. Now it is severely underwater. People think we let in way too many people. Even the Carney government is dramatically reducing the number of people we let in. And the population as a whole genuinely believes that one of the major causes of the cost of living crisis, the housing cost crisis, et cetera, is immigrants. And obviously, look, the more, I'm not an economist, but the more you increase demand, the more prices go up, the more people they will want more things, houses, goods, etc. So like there is a economics 101 logic there, but it is but it is something that I think is so contradictory to how Canada has been obviously developed and Canada has been historically. So like I think the Conservatives run a real risk of the pendulum swinging back and people not being as anti-immigrant as they are by the time the next election comes around. And then the Conservatives are the party of fuck immigrants, especially people who don't look like us, et cetera, which they've always...
people who don't look like
us. Oh, yes, I was going to say.
The Ukrainians are fine. Ukrainians, honestly, give them Manitoba,
They already have it.
Yeah, I paid attention in grade 8 history class. But like as Nile said, like to your point, that is the distraction, right? Like I think a big thing, like some of the things I've sort of seen just casually on Reddit is like, again, and this isn't people necessarily trying to be racist or trying to be anti-immigrant, but they're going like, why is it when I go into a Tim Hortons that it's staffed almost entirely by Southeast Asian immigrants? And the truth is that Tim Hortons Corporation is hiring temporary foreign workers, and people see that and they go, they're taking our jobs. But the underlying thing is, no, the Tim Hortons Corporation, or whoever owns them now, is not paying enough that a Canadian will take that job.
Canadian Tire just got...
They got dinged big time for that,
Yeah, and you go, so what's the bigger contribution to the housing crisis? All these people working probably sub-minimum wage in Toronto and with rents here how they are, probably living in rooming houses because how else are they here? Are they contributing to the fact that a 2-bedroom apartment is, $3,000? No, it's the fact that a corporation isn't paying enough that a person living in, working at that thing would even take that job because they can't afford to live here with it.
And corporations are also buying up all of the housing and the apartments and the condos.
Exactly.
Follow the money.
But there's 1,600 babies.
1,610 agreed upon.
Babies you round down, adults you round up. That's just basic math. But the other thing about that is like, okay, so if you have this as a system where you say if somebody comes here 8.5 months pregnant, has a baby, and you are creating this potentially stateless person, it then becomes incumbent on the government of Canada. And I'm not saying like this is how it should be done or would be done, but to sort of come up with some system to make sure that doesn't happen. So like, for example, you can't come here if you're 8.5 months pregnant if you can't guarantee that your child born here will have another citizenship. But then that just becomes an administrative nightmare.
Yeah.
And you, at that point, you just go, just let the 10 kids a year go to York, or McGill or something. Just let them.
This doesn't even factor in, 1,610 doesn't even factor in. Probably a lot of those kids leave with their parents when their student visa or whatever expires. Like,
sure.
And if they don't, we can charge them so much more for university tuition.
Well, except we can't because they'd be citizens.
We can't. Never mind.
Not to make Michelle Rebel Gardner's point for her, but we're not getting that sweet dollar.
Because Canadian citizens have such a low tuition for
Yes.
university. It's such a cakewalk.
Basically free.
That's the most like how American media has corrupted us is that like we feel our tuition is actually low because we watch all the American shows where they're like 80 grand a year for Harvard. Let's do it. And it's like,
let's not go down that.
Compared to the rest of the world, it's insane. But yes, anyways, same with our healthcare, et cetera. But yeah, so we'll see how hard they want to push that because I do really think at a certain point, people are going to find a new boogeyman to be afraid of. Right now, it's immigrants, and I think as happened in 2015 with the barbaric practices hotline, these things that seem popular at the time blow up on them when an election comes around.
Flashback.
Yeah, I mean, it lives in infamy just for the name alone. Before we move on to our big closer, a quick word to you, the listener. First of all, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for supporting us every week. If you get a chance to hop on your app of choice, if you haven't already, feel free to leave a review, leave 5 stars, talk about what you liked about the show, or say something mean about me personally. Your choice. Anything goes on the comment section. And if you are also feel free to tell a friend about the show, share our clips, whatever you can do to help us spread the word is most appreciated because we want to grow this thing to be the biggest and best podcast it can be. Also, if you are inclined to support us monetarily, you can do so at patreon.com/thebeaverton. You won't only be keeping the podcast going, you'll also be keeping our wonderful website alive, helping us pay our wonderful writers enough that they can almost afford to eat, and have a grand old time over on Patreon. We also do some behind the scenes stuff. It's a ton of fun. And if you're a Patreon member listening to this, thank you so much for supporting us. You are the reason we get to do the show, the reason the website still exists. We truly, truly appreciate it. And now it is time for the approximately 10-minute long quiz.
It's the approximately 10-minute long quiz, brought to you by Time.
Every week, I ask our panel to play the approximately 10-minute long quiz, where I put their knowledge of some less widely reported news stories to the test. Panel, your first question. We're all well aware of NIMBYs protesting businesses and developments in their community, but what surprising entity do some suburban Winnipeg residents say don't belong in their residential neighborhood?
Firefighters. There's a huge DIY firefighting trend on TikTok, and they're into it.
There's just too many.
They're like,
you can't even turn your barbecue on in this.
And they're very loud. They're very loud, so we'll handle it.
Yeah. The sirens ruin my open-air campfires.
100%.
Since it's Winnipeg, I'm going to have to go with the Museum of Human Rights.
They want it torn down.
Get it out of here.
And for that, they will win a Nobel Prize.
Solid Winnipeg reference.
Oh man, I was just gonna say Bigfoot.
I mean, I think NIMBYs would be pretty opposed to Bigfoot or feet. Yes.
Yeah. How about a welcome to Winnipeg sign? Because anything that reminds them that they're living in Winnipeg.
Wow! Damn. Okay, we're going after Winnipeg today.
First was like a reference that I think locals would like, and now it's like stay down.
I'm sorry, Winnipeg, you're wonderful.
He didn't mean that.
We enjoy the 2 months of the year where there's no mosquitoes and also no winter. None of those were correct, sadly to say. The real answer, unless anyone knows it, is an elementary school.
Jesus
They
Christ.
have
Are the children too loud?
Yes, I mean, I think so.
Yep.
They said it would disrupt their
hate the
enjoyment of
sound
daily
of
life.
joy.
Yes, they're not
Childhood
named. I'm
happiness.
assuming they are 78 minimum, guaranteed. The people who complain about
Inside,
this.
internally 78 years old.
100%, yeah. Like the idea that like the laughs and shrieks of children playing for like 45 minutes outside and then like a drop off and pick up.
That actually genuinely makes me
I
sad for
don't
them.
like kids, and I'm like, you're evil. That is just an evil thing to think.
That doesn't. Oh wow.
Yeah, like I don't have kids either, but I walk by an elementary school, I'm like, the future.
I'll walk by an elementary school and be like, oh, I remember that. That was fun.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you not? How?
I've seen
Yeah.
that happening in Toronto, though. They'll debate whether playgrounds should exist because kids are too loud. And I'm like, y'all need to get better hobbies. I'm sorry.
Yeah, when I was a kid, so my public school or elementary school was right in the middle of like a residential neighborhood, and they put up basketball hoops, and then like neighbors started complaining the basketball hoops were not taken down every day because then people were playing past 8 p.m. So, because like people would come and play on the playground
Use their community.
Didn't go to the school, and they were like outrageous. So every day the poor janitor had to unscrew and take out the basketball hoops so that people couldn't play on them after the school closed.
Although, he's a janitor in a primary school. That was probably like the 100th worst part of his day.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. There was no poop involved.
Exactly. He must have been so. Oh, I get to take these down.
We wonder why like kids and teenagers are staying inside and getting spending too much time on their tablets and then we just take away anything that would allow them to be outside at night,
including education.
Including education. My God.
I do want to give a little bit of good news, which is after I said or was doing all my work on the quiz, I did follow up this afternoon, and then I was like, oh, they've withdrawn their appeal, so the school is going ahead. Yeah. By the way, this community was built. The school was always planned. It's not like they sprung a school on them. But anyways, they've withdrawn their objection to the school.
Point of order: are they annoyed at the construction?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was the school itself.
It was just.
Now maybe, that was their complaint or their whatever. Maybe internally it was we don't want the noise of the construction, but that was not mentioned in their whatever appeal to the city hall.
All right.
Or city council. Next question. No points on that one. Nova Scotia has been facing a pretty unique crime wave this week. Someone has been breaking into businesses and houses, stealing things, and leaving something behind. Can you tell me what?
Directions to their house. They're very good at gaslighting the cops. Wasn't me. I don't. Why? Just because it's direction to my house? Clearly, it's a vendetta.
I'm going to say rare blue lobsters.
I mean, that'd probably be worth more than what they were getting in the stuff.
So your business has been burglarized pamphlet.
With like resources for support.
Yeah.
That's
with the card to the detective who's investigating them.
I thought it was going to be a number to their burner phone. Go fuck yourself.
I got your baseball cards now.
That is so much more considerate than the real answer.
Is it bodily?
Is
it bodily? It is bodily. It's not a sex toy, Claire. That would be more considerate.
I guess depending on the kink, what is it?
Just guess what you know it is. It's poop.
Okay.
It's a poop bandit, as the headline read. There's been multiple occasions of someone breaking in, stealing stuff, and taking a big old dump. So if you're in Halifax and that happens to you, we're sorry, and we'll put some resources available on our website.
Someone help me understand why I'm so disappointed in that.
You were disappointed at the stealing. It was just the poop.
Yeah, the theft was fine up until then.
You get nervous tummy and you gotta go. I mean, I get pretty nervous robbing someone.
Yeah, that's true.
As a man of a certain age, I can't imagine being able to do that on command.
I mean,
you really got to want it.
It's a young man's game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Unless a couple pots of coffee before he goes in.
Or, devil's avocado. What if it's a terrible condition where you can only poop when you're amped up? So they're just doing this to get it out.
It's like, what was it? What was that Jason Statham movie where he had to constantly
poop?
Crank. It's Crank, but with poop. He has to constantly ramp up his adrenaline.
The tagline for the movie pitch. It's Crank, but with poop.
Oh, so a worse Crank? A worse Crank. We could not get Jason Statham for this one.
It would be a better Crank.
You know what? I think we might be able to get Jason Statham for this one.
Yeah, I've seen The Beekeeper. I think you're on the right track there.
All right, what am I doing in this one? So, right, where do you want me to poop, man?
Where's my check?
I'm going to city. I'm going to shit my pants. And then I'm going to murder everyone in this room.
No, Jason. You just need to steal something.
We have props for that, Jason.
Statham in poop.
I'm method, but only for this. Oh, yes. So points to Nile on poop, although I obviously led you down that path.
I just against my will, by the way. That is a non-consensual point.
It's one of three fluids, and I don't want it.
That's nicer than the one that I was thinking.
A non-consensual point is very funny. Next question. Apple TV Plus is the latest corporation to announce a major rebrand, which includes a name change. What will the streaming service be known as going forward?
Banana.
Solid fruit joke.
Netflix.
Oh, also fair.
Good rebrand.
I'm going to go with what we all call it already, which is that streaming service you get when your spouse gets a new iPhone.
Too accurate, right?
That would.
I should say, if no one knows the right answer, I am giving the best joke a point. So I think Craig's
that's it right there.
Okay, so Craig gets a point for that one. The real answer, Apple TV. They've dropped the plus.
Are you fucking?
It's the HBO all over again.
We lost 5 minutes of our lives on it. Oh,
I mean, if you're ever having imposter syndrome, just know that there's someone out there who got paid probably hundreds of thousands of dollars to come out with drop the plus.
That doesn't make me feel.
Yeah, that makes me feel so much worse.
Yeah.
It's not imposter syndrome.
No.
I feel
There's a whole slide
Like,
deck.
Envy.
There's a whole slide deck about how to properly justify the text and everything in the new. There's a whole branding thing that went with that.
Yeah, first bullet
countless
point,
hours.
First bullet point on the reasoning is everyone already calls it Apple TV. No one says Apple TV.
I literally didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was Apple TV.
Yeah, that's what everyone calls it. Sorry. But yes, it's very much the HBO Max. Now it's just Max. Oh no, now it's HBO again. Anyways, last question. We got 1-1. A famous statue in Ireland. Sorry, this is complete the headline. I'm going to read a headline, missing some words. You fill it in for me. Famous statue in Ireland closed off for a week to repair damage done from tourists rubbing the statues.
I'm going to keep my mind out of the gutter and say it's lovely personality.
Oh, I had something adjacent to that.
Get into that gutter.
I said ego.
Oh, okay, nice.
Craig,
I'm gonna
Craig,
go.
take us
I'm
home.
gonna stay on this nice bet. Thank you very much
And
for
say
setting this up, Claire.
balls.
No,
Rubbing?
On this
I don't
pleasant,
know.
this pleasant Hallmark vibe. Say nutsack.
No, for the record, I just want to say Nile has said it all. I was very genuine. I was gonna say the head of a dog because everyone they pat the dog.
It's a very good guess.
In Edinburgh.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, so maybe not Ireland then. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not the head of a dog, although that is a great guess, because that is very much a statue thing.
Yeah.
There's a statue in Prague, I want to say, where you're supposed to rub the right foot of one of the figures for luck. This is also not the right foot. Does anyone want to guess the real answer?
That's not the nutsack of the
It's
dog.
the
is it?
dick.
It's not the
It's
nutsack.
gotta be the.
It's not the dick.
Really?
There's also statues where they do that.
Oh, it's got to be the
yeah.
head, right?
Nope.
Like, isn't it a Buddha?
It's a statue of Saint Patrick, and it's like the snake.
Is there a clover? Is rubbing a clover a thing?
They're kissing the Blarney Stone is
shit.
the thing,
Yeah.
but that's not in Dublin. That's in Cork, I think.
I
The real answer is boobs. Famous statue in Ireland closed off for a week to
Wow.
repair
We were
damage
assuming
done.
it was a man.
We tried to.
That's
What is our
ingrained
problem?
misogyny.
In our defense, not a lot of women get statues.
In my defense,
Oh,
That's
damn,
crazy.
That's true.
and in my defense, I did say dog,
That's true. That's true.
which could I was thinking of a male dog. But
That was an unnecessary addendum.
sorry, I'm just.
Obviously a dude dog.
I was like,
Yeah,
you know.
bro.
I mean, all dogs are boys. We know that. All cats are girls. This is the famous statue of Molly Malone, which if you've been to Dublin, you've almost certainly seen. It's a statue in Dublin. She's wearing a very low-cut top with cleavage, and it's tourists have been rubbing the statue's chest for luck. And I remember being told about this, and I assumed it was like something that's like out of like some Irish folk tales, or like it's something out of James Joyce or whatever. And no, it's just a drunk tourist guide in 2002 told his
2002?
group, yeah, that it was like fun to do, and then it just spread like wildfire. So then a bunch of people were rubbing, and so like the statue, which is like I want to say like a dark gray or ivory, had like that like very light colored
Coppery?
bronze coppery
Yeah,
look,
yeah, yeah.
just right on the boobs. And now they've fenced it off, and they've asked people to stop rubbing Molly Malone's boobs, which is a good rule of thumb anywhere you go. Stop rubbing people's boobs. We didn't ask you to, but yes. So that's the statue in Ireland. Well, so no point on that one. And at the end of our quiz, I can reveal that we have a tie between Craig and Niall. So Craig, you're the guest. Let's say that's the tiebreaker.
Yeah, thank
you. Anything you would. So you've won absolutely nothing, save for the right of first plug. Anything you'd like the people to know about?
Yeah, well, actually, my brand new stand-up album, World's Deadliest Cat, is actually out October 20th. So you can look me up on Spotify, Apple, whatever, Apple TV Plus if you want. And check that out as well. I also have a podcast, The Villain Was Right, where me and another comedian, Rebecca Reeds, we defend villains from movies and TV shows. So you can check that out wherever you get your podcasts.
Awesome. Yeah, I was there when you recorded that album. You absolutely destroyed. It is hilarious. I strongly encourage everyone to check that out. And if you're eagerly anticipating it and it's too soon to check it out now, go listen to Craig's other two albums because they're also very hilarious.
Oh, thank you.
Clare Blackwood.
Oh, You can find me on Blue Sky at Clare Blackwood, and I expected you to go to Nile because he.
Nah, I just go in rotation.
Clockwise.
Yeah, fair. And YouTube at It's Clare Blackwood.
And soon Patreon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop.
No. It's a good kick in the ass.
I'll get it done.
I don't know why
I'll
I'm
do it tonight, Mr. Seguin.
I'm sorry, Mr. Seguin.
Yeah, that's right. I'm smoking a cigar for those of you at home.
Nile.
Yeah, normally I plug my good news podcast, Total Annihilation, which I just did. But I would also like to plug right now on my website, nilesegain.com, there's a template for an email that you can send to your MP or your Prime Minister Carney for Liberation Day 2026, where we nationalize a billionaire. So basically, you just copy that email, send it in. I did it today. I got an email from my MP. She's going to get back to me in 10 business days, I think was what the email said. I think it might have been a form response, but it doesn't matter. We can do it, guys. Guys, 2026. Liberation Day. We're going to nationalize a billionaire.
Just one every year?
Yeah. So it's going to be
based on the
regular
podcast,
thing.
right?
Yeah. So basically, it's going to be a lottery, and we're going to pick one billionaire, and then we're going to nationalize them and divide their wealth to the poorest Canadians. And so I'm just basically getting a letter writing campaign started. So yeah, nilesegain.com is where the template is, or you can write your own.
As long as we don't use the money to build elementary schools.
Yeah. Can't have kids enjoying themselves.
I'm just imagining every billionaire slowly being turned into like Steve Martin in The Jerk when he loses everything and his pants are around his ankle and he's like, I don't need this yacht. I don't need this. Anyways, yes.
Love that.
So is this a real thing, by the way? Or
This is 100% a real thing.
Great, go check that out.
I toiled at it because I am not good at computer stuff. It took a minute, but the PDF's there, guys.
Awesome. Go check that out. That's great. And follow the Beaverton wherever you get your social media. Check out our newsletter, beaverton.com/newsletter if you want to sign up for that. I send it out every weekend except for long weekends. I don't bother. So you can check that out. Who wants to be bugged with an email newsletter on a long weekend? No one wants that. I don't bother you on long weekends. I bother you the other times. Check that out, and we'll talk to you next week. Have a great week.
The Beaverton Weekly Report is produced by Andrew Rivalme in partnership with the From Superheroes Network. Visit FromSuperheroes.com to hear more great podcasts like this.